Hi, my name is Hamid. I'm a certified instructor at ASM Educational Center. Today I want to talk about the concept of Vlan, Virtual Local Area Network, in Network Plus and Security Plus. Again, in order to show you this concept, I'm going to open the packet tracer and I'm going to create some kind of Vlan. You have to understand that this material is only I'm using for demonstration, okay? Because the packet tracer is a tool that you can use for Cisco. So this is just showing another shortcut to show the concept of that, okay? Now, when you buy brand new switches, all we need to connect the PC to each port and the PC can talk to each other. But if I can take a switch like a Cisco switch and create a bunch of a few VLAN. Like here in this diagram, this is a general idea. I have VLAN 10 publishing, VLAN 20 and VLAN 30. You have to understand this is one department, this is another department, and this is another department. If we have a switch, we switch to 3 VLAN. Now this could be 10-10-10 network, 10-10-10-10.0/24, 20-20-20.0/24, 30-30.0/24, okay? Now here, I'm going to look at the switch when you buy a brand new switch without any configuration. Now let's look at this. See, when I say show VLAN brief, you're going to see every port on VLAN 1 is. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up the packet tracer right here. Alright. So what we're going to do, we're going to click on, this is the router, shows router, this is the switch, shows switch, and this shows what? The cable. So I'm going to say switch, I'm going to bring 2950 T switch. Okay. Now I click here, make a switch 1. Alright, when I click here, when I go to CLI, it's booting up right now, just wait. But I'm going to click here, PC1, we're going to create a bunch of VLAN here. This is PC1, PC2, then we call this PC what? 4, PC5, okay? I'm going to click note here, I'm going to write down 10.10.10.0/24. Remember, /24 means what? 254 hosts, 255.255.255.0 and 10.10.10.100 as default what? Gateway. Okay, then I'm going to put this .1, .2, this one I'm going to give .4, and this one I'm going to give what? .5. And this sort of network I'm going to call a 20 network, 20.20.20.0/24, 255.255.255.0 with 20.20.20.100 default gateway, which I'm going to explain them later, okay? Then I'm going to click here. Remember from last video I did that. In order to put cable, you put a cable and then you need what? You need a straight through cable. Because I want to connect, you click here, you go from PC1 to port 1. Then I go from here PC2 to port what? 2. It's very important. Then here I'm going to go from what? PC4 to port what? 4. Don't touch port 3, okay? That's very important. Then when I click here, PC5 to port what? 5, okay? Now notice that when I click here, I type in EN, that's short for enable. Here's a command, you type in show VLAN. Watch this. So show VLAN, I see all the ports on what? VLAN 1 is. That means when you buy a brand new switch, just plug in, everyone talk to each other. But here, we're going to create 2 VLAN. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to put a note again. I'm going to type in VLAN 2. It's going to be EGR. And this is VLAN what? 3. It's going to be cells. So that's what the goal of this class is, and this goal of this lab is. If you look at my notes, hint. See, when you look at the switch, when you buy a brand new switch without configuration, every port on what? VLAN 1. We have only one VLAN, VLAN 1, okay? As we see, all the ports are located in default VLAN 1. Now I will create 2 VLAN. VLAN 2 we call EGR. Now, PC1 and PC2 is connected to F01 and F02, and PC4 and 5 is on port 4 and 5, and they're VLAN 3. So we have VLAN 2 right here, and VLAN what? 3. Okay, that's what they. Now here's the result after I have done the above. So I'm going to create two VLAN. I'm going to show the packet trace, then I'm going to assign the port. So let me show you how you do that. In order to do that, again, remember that this concept on the Cisco, you have to type the command. But what we're going to do, we're going to kind of like use this simulation. I'm going to go to config. I'm going to go to VLAN database. See, this is VLAN number right here. I'm going to say VLAN what? 2. The name, I call it what? EGR. You gotta make sure add. Now look at this. I have VLAN 2. Then you click here, click 3, and then I want to have what? VLAN number what? 3 right here. And I call that cells. Click what? Add. As you see, I have 2 VLAN. See? 2 VLAN. If I go to CLI, here, these are the commands you have to type in Cisco router, but we're not going to type right now. We're going to use Control-C. You got to make sure you're a pound mode before you do anything. Type in show VLAN. When I do that, see now I have VLAN 2 and 3. Okay? But that's not good enough because I got to put these ports inside VLAN 2. So port 1 and 2 is going to be on VLAN 2, and port what? 4 and 5 is going to be there. That's the whole idea, is because we want to make sure these guys talk and these guys talk. How do you do it? You go to config, you go port 1 right here, F01 right here, F01. This is VLAN 1. I'm going to make it what? VLAN 2. Then I'll go click F02. See, it shows F02. Then I'll go what? VLAN what? 2. That's okay, VLAN 2 right now. Then I'll go, I don't touch F03, I'll go F04. F04, which is right here, PC4, I'm going to put what? VLAN what? 3. Then I'm going to click 5. That's port 5 right here. See that port 5 right here? Then I'm going to make it VLAN what? 3. Alright, let's check it out. Control Z, show VLAN. I see 1 and 2 is that port, and 4 and 5 right here. Okay. Now let's go give our IPS, make sure they can ping you. I'll go here, I'll go to desktop. This is PC1, so it should be 10.10.10.1 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0, and default gateway. Later I need that. Let's give .100. Okay, that's PC2. It's PC2 right here. 10.10.10.2 with 255.255.255.0 and 10.10.10.100. That's default gateway. Okay, then I'll go PC4. Here, be careful. You got to do what? 20.20.20.20.4, 255.255.255.0, and 20.20.20.100. Then I'll go PC5, desktop, 20.20.20.5, 255.255.255.0, and 20.20.20.100. Okay. Now let's go to the switch. So let's go to PC1. Close this. I go to command prompt right here. I type in IP config. Let's see if I can ping 10.10.10.2. I'm PC1. I want to make sure I can ping what? PC2. Then I'll press enter. See, now I can ping. Why is that? Because I create VLAN here. Okay, now I go to PC4. Let's close that one. I go to PC4, I type in IP config. Let's see if I can ping. This is PC4 is, let's see if I can ping PC5. 20.20.20.5. Okay? So what does that mean? Instead of buying 2 switches, I took 1 switch and I create VLAN. So I segment these guys and I segment these guys. So they can talk to each other, okay? That's what we have in my notes. So after I do show VLAN, look at this. VLAN 2 is in here and VLAN 3 is right here. As we can see, PC1 can talk to PC2 and 4 to 5, but PC1 cannot ping sync 4 or 5 since I need to have a router between them. So when I go back here, let's test that. See, PC4 right here. Let me go to PC1. Oops, let's see if we can ping 20.20.20.4. I cannot ping that. Why? Because in order to talk to each other, in order to segment talk, you gotta have what? A layer 3 device, which is router. So what we're gonna do, you see that ping is not working. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put a router between those, okay? So I'm going to bring my packet trace right here. Let's wait this ping is finished. Okay, close that, close that. Okay, I'm gonna highlight this. Let's highlight that one, then I'm gonna drag it down a little bit so we have more room for what? A router. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a router here. You're gonna click router, then I'm gonna pick what, 1841. It doesn't matter what router. Now here I'm gonna label this. Now if before I do that, see when I move the mouse, you have F00, you see that one, F00 and F01. There's no IP address here. If I click here, when I zoom in, okay, you see that? You have ports right here, F00 right here and F01. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to label this to make life easy. This can be F00. That's going to act as default gateway for this left side of things, and this can be .100, and this one I'm going to be what, F0/1, and this can be .100. That means when I create my IP address for F00, that's it, you gotta give 10.10.10.100, and then F0/1, that's default gateway, should be 20.20.20.100. Because according to my diagram, this is 10-10-10 network right here. See it? This is 10-10-10 network, and this is what? 20-20 network. Okay, now I'm going to create cable. I'm going to create cable. Click cable here. I need a straight through cable right here. See a straight through cable? I click what? F00. Now here's very important where you connect. I'm going to connect to port what? 3. I'm going to label this F0 what? 3. Then I'm going to click cable here, F01 to port what? 6. Again, it's very important we label this F0/6. Okay? Now, the next thing I want to do, I'm going to give IP address here. I'm going to double click the router, same as before. You're going to do config. You're going to go F00. Okay, you're going to go where? F00. First, you have to turn on. You see that one? It was red, now it's green. Now this is IP address. I'm going to give IP as what? 10.10.10.100 with 255.255.255.0. That's for what? F00. See F00 here. Now I'm going to click F01. Make sure turn on so it become green. And here you're going to 20.20.20.100 with 255.255.255.0. Okay? Alright. So that's what I did. So that's what I said. As we see from PC1, I can talk to PC2, and PC4 can talk to them. But PC1 cannot do it because I need a router. Here in the diagram, after I put the router between them, make sure that give IP address this. And also make sure you turn on the ports, since by default all the ports are shut down mode. Okay? So that's what we did. Alright? Okay, so that's what we did. Now, we have done with that, right? Now let's see if I can go from PC1 can ping to PC4. Let's see from PC1 can ping PC4. I'm going to go back to my diagram. Let's go back to my diagram. PC1. I double click it. I go command prompt. I say ping 20.20.20.4. As you see, it does not work. So what we have to do, we have to troubleshoot. It's very important for troubleshooting class. This concept is very important for Metropolitan and for what? Security Plus. Okay. Now let's just wait. Now see why it doesn't work. Let's see something else. Let's say IP config. Again, I'm right here, and this is what? PC. First, you're going to make sure you can go all the way to router. Let's see if I can ping my what? Default gateway. Ping 10.10.10.100. I cannot even ping my default gateway. So that's not what? Good. So what do you think is the problem is? Okay? The best way to remember, you got to think about OSI layer model. Look at my notes. I say, okay. I type in IP config, all of that. I see that I cannot even ping my default gateway. Okay, so as we see, you cannot ping the default. Why? Think of OSI layer model. Remember, the IP address is located layer 3. So layer 1 means what? Physical layer. Make sure all the cable is correct. Make sure we're not using wrong cable. So the cable is correct. Layer 2 is what? Data link layer, and what? Layer 3 network. Data link layer means what? Look at the what? Look at your what? Switch. That's what that means. Okay. Now let's look at the switch now. Now let's look at the switch. When I go to switch, watch this. Go to switch 1. I say show VLAN. Now notice that port 1 and 2 is right here. Well, PC 1 and 2 cannot ping what? Default gateway. Now where's default located here in this diagram? See, port 1 and 2 they can talk because they're right here, but port 1, 2 and this IPS does not run because this port F03 is what? Different LAN. So in order PC1 and PC ping default gateway, this port has to be right in front of that, okay? Because they have to be same what VLAN. Now in order PC4 and 5 be able to ping default gateway, in order 4 and 5 do that, this port F06, which is right here, has to be in front of the VLAN what? 2. That's the goal is. So that's what's set down. Okay, look at here. See, right here, okay? I will see that port F03 is located in VLAN 1 and port 6 is located in VLAN 1. Now in order PC1 and PC2 and router ping each other, I need to make sure F03 is located what? VLAN 2. So port F03 is right here, it has to be right here. So this guy can talk. Okay, same concept applied to what? F06. F06 has to be what? Here. Okay, the same concept, in order PC4, 5 and default we ping each other, I need to make sure F0 is looking at VLAN 3. So what we're going to do, we got to put those. So I go back to where? Switch. Go here, switch. You're going to go config, go to what? F03. F03, see it's default VLAN 1, I'm going to make it what? VLAN what? 2. Then I'll go port what? 6, and this should be VLAN what? 3. Let's check it out. I'll go back to CLI. In order to check, I use Control Z. You gotta make sure in panel. You gotta be in this kind of mode. Show VLAN. Now look at this. 1 and 2 and 3 is that, and 4 and 5, 6 are here. So let's test it right now. Let's go to PC1. Let's see if I can ping default gateway. Alright, I can ping my default gateway. That's good. Now let's see if I can ping the other side. 20.20.4. And let's see. Usually the first one's RPS, it doesn't work, but let's wait and see if it works. Now it does work. Okay? So I wrote that in my notes that this is right here, and the ping we can work, and life is good. Okay? So the key is to remember that the key is for the rest of your life, PC 1 and 2 they can talk, and this port, which is from default here, they have to always same VLAN. PC 4 and 5 they can talk, and PC F06, which is connected to the router, that port has to be same VLAN. Okay. Now let's say instead of 2 VLAN we have 3 or 4 VLAN. In this case, I cannot put out so many what router between each VLAN. That means, let's in diagram I have what? I have more what? One VLAN here, another VLAN here, another VLAN here, another VLAN, another VLAN. I cannot go put so many what router between all of those. So what Cisco came with the idea, they call it what? Multi-layer switch. So Cisco came with the idea multi-layer switch. Those are typical switches like 3550, 3560, 3570 above, that allows you to be a layer 2 switch and layer 3 device, act as a router. In that case, we don't need a router, which is part of a Cisco, which is Cisco 3560 and above, and then I can route packet from one VLAN to another VLAN, and this concept is in CCNA, CCNPS. Okay, so that concludes our small configuration about what? VLAN. Again, this is one VLAN, this is one VLAN. 10.10.10.1.2 they can talk, 20.20.4.5 they talk. You know, these guys, they have to, you put a router. Now this port F03, F01, F02, has to be same VLAN, and then port 06 F06, and this port PC4 and 5 has to be what? Same what? VLAN. That means when you troubleshoot layer 1 physical, layer 2 means what? Look at this switch. Make sure F01, 2, 3, make sure 3 is right here, and we should make sure 4, 5, and 6 right here. So after fixing, we see it's right here. Okay? Again, everything that I explained to you is going to be on our website, in our blogs, under Cisco, Netto Plus and Secure Plus section. So when you go to our website, this is our website, is right here. Okay? Find that right here. Okay, this is our website at asm.com. If you come down, if you click IT courses, that's going to take you to here. It's in IT courses. We have A+, Netto Plus. These are our courses, and these are the blogs. We have CCNS, CCNP, Juniper, A+, Netto Plus, and all the good stuff. And also we do community outreach too. So if you come here, if you're in this area, you're welcome. Come and join us as community outreach. Okay, if you have a question, comment, give us a call at 301-984-740, and or fill out one of this form and we get back to you. Thanks so much. Have a good day.